Guys, good morning or good afternoon, maybe good evening, depending on when you're actually listening to these calls. I actually do say that when I start my coaching calls. Those who have been coaching with me, they know. I usually do coaching groups. They know I always start with good morning, good afternoon, good evening, because I've got a global audience and people are jumping on those calls, and for some of them it's evening, for some of them it's morning, for some of them it's afternoon. But let me bring Christina in. I'll tell you what I was going to say because I've just left Christina. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Christina.
Thanks, Zoghi.
We can put some sound effects of people clapping for you right now.
Yeah. I love it.
How you doing?
Voice of the people has arrived.
Yeah.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm very familiar with you saying good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. From all the coaching calls with all of our friends from all the different time zones.
Yeah, and what I was going to say about that is that I love how I usually do those calls at 6 a.m. because it's to make it work for the Europeans, the Americans, and the Australians. It has to be 6 a.m. for me, so I do those calls at 6 a.m. But what I love is that yes, for someone it's in the middle of the day, for someone it's at the end of the night, or whatever. But it's all in the same moment. There is this thing called time, and everyone's experience. Hey, you might be in the other side of the world, and you're experiencing yourself in a different season. But in that moment, there's only we're sharing one moment. It doesn't matter what time, what the clock says. It doesn't matter which side of the earth or the globe you are, and what your season is. It's the same moment. So, really powerful when you get to connect with people live online, and these are obviously people are connecting with these, watching it on YouTube or on through their podcast platforms, but it's a recording, and it's good, it's great, but there's something different when you're actually sharing the same moment together. That's what I was going to say.
Well, maybe later on we can talk about how things are changing behind the scenes, and people might have an opportunity to do that with you. But that brings me around to some of the things I wanted to talk to you about today. Actually, I'm really loving how we're getting into behind the scenes stuff, and people are getting a peek behind the curtain of how you really live what you share, like in your business, and how you make decisions, and follow your intuition and your feeling. And I feel like it's interesting because we're recording these week to week, so they're getting sort of like a play by play of like what's going on behind the scenes right now, and it's exciting because there's been a lot of stuff happening and being announced and things in the works. So yeah, I want to jump into where you're at and your process with all that right now, because even I think it was literally today an announcement went out to the database from Leah, sharing some pretty big news, and I was wondering if you could just elaborate on the process of that. Like literally the title of the email was like my argument with Amir. So
yeah, we had an argument.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, Leah's my she's the marketing director, so we often call her boss lady. Leah and I had an argument, and she went and shared that argument with the database and sent an email. Of course, I knew about it, but she sent an email from herself personally, so from her email address at AZ, and basically announced that we had an argument, and we talked about the argument, and she wrote about the argument. So this argument was, so obviously this year I've been coming up with, feeling to just, when I really, and this is what I try to explain to Leah. I mean, she gets it, but this is how the conversation went, because like when I first started speaking, and this was 2008. In 2008, it was when I actually started to share my work, and and well before 2008, maybe 2002, 2003, there was a moment, and I've shared this on the podcast recordings before, where I had this feeling inside, and I was sharing, because everyone was in this group were talking about what makes them happy. I won't tell that story again in case someone's listened to that podcast story already, but I said I have this feeling that I just want to take what's inside of me and bring it out. Now, I didn't know what that was, but I those words came out of my mouth, and when they came out of my mouth, my voice was shaking and tears were streaming out of my eyes, and I was a mess. And I just said, I just want to take this feeling that is here. It's like it's come up. It's like at my throat. And to not bring it out feels like it's starting to choke me. I need to take this feeling and bring it out. Now, I didn't know I was going to be a speaker or coach or transformation worker. I didn't know any of that. I wasn't, it wasn't even on the playing cards, if you like. This was well before I even started working in the personal development industry. So I didn't know what it was. I verbalized it. And when I verbalized it, I actually felt better. Isn't that interesting when you sometimes tell the truth? And, not to other people. I don't care about that. You tell the truth to yourself, and you suddenly you feel lighter, and you just, So that was one of those moments. And so, of course, everyone in the team knows about that story because I've shared it often in whether it's at a podcast or different things. But later in my life, I realized in 2008 that, that's what that feeling was. And I started to connect to that feeling and bring it out. And, I brought it out through how I expressed it through my words, through my expressions, whether that was on stage or written on a piece of paper in my book. So anyway, what I told Leah is I said, Leah, I have the same feeling as I had back when I was younger. And I said, I've just got this feeling that I just want to bring this out again. And I don't want to bring it out through through an identity. I don't want to limit it through an identity. Could in this case is a business, a model, a business model. And I have struggled for many years to bring this out because I feel that I have this gift to give, but I also have this other side of me, which has been an entrepreneurial side, if you like. And so every time I want to bring this out, I try to form it into a model, a marketing model, a business model, if you like, and even a model that is, because I have a love to work with other people who also want to do this. And people like yourself, Christina, you're a facilitator of this work. And at the moment, you're not doing all the facilitation has stopped because even that to me was a model. Yeah. Where I introduce, the audience to one of my facilitators, and the facilitators help and support them through this journey. That even was a model. I've even pulled the pin from that. Like I feel to bring this out in the most organic, in the most natural, in the way it's meant to be, in the way it chooses to unfold. I don't even want to, the only input is bring it out. I don't want to have any concern or even influence on how that lands, where it lands, or how it forms. And it's taken me many years to get to the point of having the courage to do what I'm about to do, or to do what I am doing, and it's still unfolding. Yeah. And I mean, I remember, and I told Leah this, when I first started speaking, the first program I put together was the Quest for Truth experience. Many people know about that story, right? And and I thought to myself, you know what I don't want to do? Because I worked in this industry, the personal development industry. I had a company in that organization, in the industry. But I wanted to do something different. I wanted to do something where it didn't this information, this opportunity didn't limit or was not limited by someone's financial circumstances or an ideal they had around money. I didn't want to make it about the money when it comes to the work.
Yeah.
So I started off that way, to be honest. I started off with pay what you feel. Yeah. And, it didn't last. I wasn't the person that I am today. I wasn't at the place that I am today. And when I say the place, I'm not saying, well, now I've got money, I can do that. Now it's got nothing to do with that. But the place, I mean the space. Yeah. Like, it's taken me a lot of work and working with a lot of clients, working with people has allowed me to go deeper. Yeah. So, I started, and someone might be thinking, well, hang on, well, why didn't it work? I mean, there was a part of me that thought to myself, I'm just being woo-woo. And if I'm just letting him do pay what you feel, like I remember when I did the pay what you feel, I remember I spent an entire weekend. I hired a venue, and I got to pay for the venue, the AV, whatever, all that. You got the expenses when you're running an event. So it used to be over 2 days, and so it was pay what you feel. And back then, people would just drop in an envelope, and they'll drop some cash in or whatever. And people would throw in a few $100s sometimes, but this one guy I just never forget. And I could see he really got a lot out of the program, but he put $20 in there, and I had a process around that. I'm like, dude, and I think to myself, please tell me that's all he had or something. I mean, I didn't feel that was the case, but I was hoping that's all I have, because please tell me you don't think that what I just shared with you was worth $20. Please. It breaks my heart. If you thought, do you understand the limitless capacity, the potential that you have after you've experienced this program that I just shared with you? You think that was worth $20? Now that was my process. Yeah. Okay. And my process from there, I was like, well, I'm being woo-woo here, because people are not going to value it if I don't set a price. So I need to set a price, and I need to get them to value what I'm sharing. And, I did that very successfully. Yeah. But now I'm back. I'm back where I started. Yeah. And that feeling and that idea to do it the way I want to do it, which is how I started, it has never left me, but it's taken me, 20 years or 15 years to swing back around and yeah. I don't know how it's going to work, but I'm doing it. I don't know how I'm doing. And so this argument I had with Leah was because she does all the marketing. She's fantastic. And can I tell you how I met Leah? Because that's probably really important right now for people to understand. I met Leah because she one day sent an email to the person who was answering my emails back then. Was my assistant, and she said, "I just watched his program. The program was called the WTF. For those who don't know, it's the same. It's similar to the Limitless program that most people have done now, which is free on YouTube. In case you're hearing this for the first time, you're like, what? What's a Limitless? It's free on YouTube. So anyway, she did that program, and she just said, I just did that program, and it just completely shifted and changed my entire life in a very quick span of time. It was it wasn't like a delayed gratification. It's like an instant gratification, if you like. So anyway, she just said it just changed my life, and I just want to say that I do marketing. That's what I do, and if there's anything I can do to offer my services, or she wasn't looking for a job. She's just like she was very honest in the email, and that's what really great, because I do get a lot of people who email and say how I want to be involved. But she said I would love to offer my services if you ever want to use it, and I got so much from your program, and I want to be part of sharing it with other people. And then she said this one thing that she goes, I want to be in the inner circle. I want to be around working with you, because I want to see because sometimes you have work or a speaker or a certain work that is different on stage versus when they get off stage. Behind the curtains there's a shift that takes place. So she said, I want to be on the inner circle. In other words, I want to peek behind the curtains and see what really takes place. Is this thing for real? And so she was living in Thailand. She's actually American, but she was living in Thailand, and my assistant forwarded me, and she goes, "Here's another person that wants to work with you." And she was expecting me to go, yeah, tell them I don't have any work, But I read that part. I want to be part of the inner circle. And I said, contact her, get her on a call with me. And I think I was about to go overseas, I remember. And I got on a call just before I was about to get on overseas. And we had a chat just on a quick phone call. I think I was driving in the car that day. Had a conversation with her, and she says, I'm in Thailand. I said, can you come to Australia? Let's meet. So she flew after I got back from overseas, my trip. I think it was when we were in Italy, Christina, when we did it might have been back then. Anyway, so she flew to Australia. We met, and after that she started working with me. So she's now peeked behind the curtain, and there was a period of time where we stopped working together, and I went through different directions. She had a baby, and she was going through different things, and we only started working together again in the last, how long has it been, Chrissy? 5 months, 6 months?
Yeah,
probably in the last 6 months.
Towards
She's
the
back.
end of last year, like in the fall,
But overall, it's been a number of years that we've worked together. So, I have a great level of respect for her opinion. So when I went to her earlier this year and say, I want to give all my content away for free, I always feel like I have to pitch her because, I need her, I agree, and that's important for me, and she's all on board about, the cause, or, sharing this work, because the shift it makes in people's lives. So, earlier this year, I want to give the Limitless program for free. And she's like, I pitched it. She was like, yeah, let's do it. And we started putting the Limitless program for free. I want to give the content that people pay thousands of dollars to do coaching, that's part of my coaching program. I want to give that content called Truth Bumps away. And I want to put that on YouTube. She kind of double stared and was like, I mean, that's from your coaching program. Then maybe no one will sign up to your coaching program. I'm like, so be it. I had to pitch that to her. So she was like, okay, kind of signs off on it. And we tell the team, guys, we're going to actually give all this content now away for free. It's going to be on YouTube. So I made my pitch about YouTube is the place to go, and we need to give this out, and la, la, la. And so she's on board. So then this other meeting, because the way I pitched it to her, it's like, well, more people will get access to it, and more people will be interested in my coaching membership, because I have a coaching membership where people pay, $100 to $200 a month, and I do weekly coaching. And they get access to me via WhatsApp messaging. And I said, well, more people will sign up to that, and then it will work financially. It will work. So just trust me, trust the process. So she was on board. So the meeting we had 2 days ago, I meet with her once a week. I said, Leah, because she's just sent emails out about, hey, we've got a special offer for people to come and join the coaching, and she did this $97 special offer, and she sent a few emails out. People started paying for it, registering, and I said, I want to give that away also. She's like, well, I just how are you going to pay me? I was like, oh, you still want me to pay you? And I was joking, of course. And that was the argument we had, because it was like, Amir, like, where are you going with this? Like, and I just was like, Leah, when I had that feeling inside of me back when I was younger and I needed to get it out, I'm there. I just need to get this out without limiting it. And it's not about limiting it to money anymore. Without limiting it to a model, a system. I just want it to be out, organic, reach whoever it's meant to reach, touch whoever it's meant to touch, save whoever it's meant to save. And I say save because I've had people message me and go, this saved my life. I was suicidal. I listened to this, it changed everything. I just want to get this out. And I said that to her, please help. And and Christina, you're part of one of my more elite coaching groups called FTW. You know it really well. Stands for Free the World. And I've been doing that for that coaching group. Some of the people who have been part of that coaching group have been working with me and been part of that group for over 10 years. You are included in that. You've been working with me for over 10 years. And the last FTW call that we had, I got really emotional. Do you remember?
I do, yeah.
Because, I don't want to get emotional now, but my mother has always told me, Amir, you can't make money out of this. In other words, don't try to make money out of it. Money will. I don't want to go into the whole spectrum of what my mum said to me, but in a nutshell, I'll just tell you, and you guys can interpret it how you want to interpret it. And I don't want to go into teachings right now. She says to me, you can't make money out of this, and I'm like, yeah, Mum, I'm not. Look, that's not my drive. Money's coming in, but it's so it can support, so I can do this work and share it with people. And she said something else, which I'm going to keep private. I shared that with the. And you're probably going, oh, what else did she say? Well, you won't get it, to be honest. I'll say it to you, you'll be like, you won't get it. It reminds me of a moment when I had a business partner once in aviation, and he was complaining because I wasn't, I joined the business and he says I wasn't doing any work, or I wasn't doing as much work as he was. And I said, mate, what I'm doing is working. I was bringing more business it was working. I go, is it not working? He's like, yeah, but are you working? I'm like, I am. That's the way I work. He goes, yeah, but you're not doing as many hours, or, I'm doing all this extra hours and I said, you just won't understand, right? But trust me, my friend, I'm working and it's working. And he's just like, yeah, I can see it's working, but I don't see you working. And I just said to him, mate, you won't get it. And he goes, try me. I'm an open guy. Just try me. Like, I get it. Like, I'll get it. Just try me, please. I said, all right. I move energy. And he went, don't worry about it. I just walked away from the conversation and went, don't worry about it. As soon as I said, well, I move energy. So it's one of those moments right now. The second thing she said, if I say it to you, you'd be like, this podcast is not for me, or so I'm just going to leave that aside. But I shared it with the FTW guys, right? in that moment when I was sharing this, because with my FTW coaching groups, I actually openly share about my process, and we're trying to do this with the podcast. We're trying to do behind the scenes, and I'm trying to openly share as much as I can, on the podcast. So when I'm with the FTW coaching group, if I'm having a process, I share my process. It's very rare. But I started to share it, and as I started to share it, I started to get tears in my eyes, and I started to really like that. What my mum said, those two statements, and I just shared with you the first one. It's like it's not about the money. You're not going to make money out of this, and it just dropped in, and I was a mess. Like, I mean, I held it together though, didn't I, Chris? I held it together, but the tears started coming out, and I wasn't trembling or anything. But and I share that with you because to get Leah to kind of understand what I'm, because she's like, you can't do this, or I said, listen, I'll tell you what, I want you to go and listen. And nobody listens to FTW content. It's very exclusive. It's, we don't share it. And I said, I want you to go listen to this FTW recording. And she went and she went and listened or watched that FTW recording. Yeah. And I got a message straight away, and she went, I'm all in. I could read it to you, but I don't have it. But anyway, she was just like, she just sent to me the most heartfelt message and was like, I'm all in, and I'm so grateful that I'm part of this, and I want to share this with other people, and I trust it, and I just want to go all in. So basically she just went, I'm all in, let's go. So that was this conversation that Leah and I had, and today, as Christina's alluding to before, an email went out from Leah saying my argument with Amir, and basically announcing that we are now, not only are we giving the coaching content away for free, and that's coming out, every week or two on YouTube, but Amir's also going to give you his coaching membership for free, which, normally it's, like I said, a couple $100. It's not too much. So what that means is that 6 a.m. call on Thursdays is now going to be dedicated to the people who are part of that membership, which is a free access membership. And every week I get to meet with people live. Like, isn't it funny? It's just so funny. I'm thinking, we started this podcast with me talking about the importance. Fucking, you can't script this shit better. But if someone's watching this and like, oh wow, he scripted this good. That's a good plug, because he kind of emphasized the importance of doing the call live versus watching these recordings. I love it. I think you dropped in for you because you said, we're going to talk about that later. But anyway, so yeah, I'm.
So wait, you're telling me. I want to make sure it's clear to our audience that anyone can sign up for this membership now and join you weekly live for coaching directly with you. Absolutely. My suggestion. It's really important for you to listen to the content, because then you won't bring questions that are not already in the content. Yeah. There's no stupid questions, but trust me, like I get emails and DMs all the time where people are going, I've just watched 3 truth bumps or 2 or whatever, and like those truth bumps, I can't tell you, there's just magic in it. Like, just listen or watch one, and you'll see how you feel changes. When I talked about before, when you say the truth and you verbalize it or you get it out, you feel light. You watch a truth bump and you're like floating. Like, and I'm not, watch a few and see what happens. That's all I'm going to say. And if you're hearing this or watching this for the first time, go start with the Limitless program. But anyway, my point is
these calls, which are called Ask AC. So, I'm going to be doing this 6 a.m. on Thursdays. That's Sydney time, 6 a.m. When you register, you'll get all the details about what time it works out for your city. I'm going to meet with you, and you can ask me any question, and I want to be able to support and coach you on this journey. So the journey means you're watching the Limitless program. That's how the coaching programs has worked for many years. I have coaching clients who come in. I have a WhatsApp group that they're part of, so they get direct contact with me, and they ask questions, and they share, and they contribute on the WhatsApp, and I'm responding throughout the week. And then they're listening to the Limitless. Well, they usually have finished the Limitless, but sometimes they're rewatching it. But they're watching the truth bumps, and then they watch the next truth bump, and there's this shift that begins to happen because the content. The magic's in the content, but the conversation we have live, it intensifies that magic, if you like. Sometimes people always say to me, how can I fast pace this journey? Because it's a beautiful journey, but I just want to, it's like, well, the live calls, the live contact, it intensifies that, gives it a 10x effect, if you like.
Absolutely.
So, it, right? You know it.
Yeah. I'm getting to be live with you, but also with the group of other people, with those like-minded hearts that are all, you get so much from hearing other people's questions and experiences and shares. And it's, it definitely, like, I don't know how I could have done this without my group, without, that's amazing. I mean, and look, I know there's that, but then there's also the opportunity to come and see you speak live in person as well for free as well, right?
Yeah, that was the next thing. Because I mean, look, we spoke about this in the last podcast. I was already looking, because I was like, when I put my signatory program, the Limitless, online for free on YouTube. And then because that's one of the live events. I mean, the two live events that I do is I run retreats, which I've got one coming up next month. I'll be seeing you, Christina. We'll be hanging out. We'll do a behind the scenes podcast on that, no doubt. Yeah. So stay tuned for that. But the other live event I do is the Limitless program. So it's a 1-day event, and typically we charge a few $100s. For that 1-day event. We did one in Portugal last year. We did one in LA last year, and also Sydney. But this year, I've just released the content from that entire program, unedited, nothing's cut out, everything, even the guided meditations that I do in that. It's all on YouTube. Yeah. Right. So then when we decided, hey, we're going to do live events, we're doing another round of live events. We've got Sydney. We're coming up March 16th in Bondi Junction, if you're in Australia, March 16th. And then we have in July, we're going to LA. And then in October, we're going to London for the first time. I have a big following in Europe. So that's why we did Portugal last year. Mm-hmm. But anyway, this year is going to be London. So then the problem or the challenge was, well, hang on a sec. We just released. See, I'm not thinking this through. I'm just following my feeling. It's someone was thinking, oh, he's really not thinking this through. I even had someone comment on YouTube, and I was like, why are you doing this? You don't even have many views. I was just like, I don't know. I'm doing it because I feel to do it. It's not about how many views I have. This is what I feel to do. Like, maybe one day we'll have lots of views, and it's not about what's happening on the outside. It's about what's bubbling on the inside. That's what it is for me. So I don't know how to answer that, but I did answer it because I do respond to all the comments on YouTube. Yeah. So anyway, where was I?
You were saying that you might think I'm not thinking this through.
Yeah, and I'm not. I'm not thinking it through, and you know what? I feel very free about that. I feel very free that I don't need to think it through because I'm following my feeling. Like it's what I feel to do. There's no agenda behind it. There's no attachment with it. It's just I'm following what I feel to do. But anyway, I just lost where I was going. So let me see if I can reconnect a second. But
you were talking about the live events and
the live events.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the predicament that I was in, well, I've just given away my program that normally people pay a few $100s for free on YouTube. Well, if I want to continue to do live events, which, you know, I told my team, I want to continue doing live events. It's like, well, how do you price that now? Because it's free on YouTube. What you can't even, can you charge now? Because you're giving it away on YouTube. So, you know, in the last episode we spoke about this, Christina. I said, we'll give it away for $1. Right. Yeah. And it was $197, but they paid $1 as long as they show up. That's all they pay. But if they don't show up, then they pay the $197. But then, you know, again, you know, I spoke to Leah and we just was like, let's not even play that game. Let's not even do that model. Let's just put it's free registration. You know, and I don't know. You'll do free registration. I know everyone's not going to show up. I don't know how many people are not going to show up, but if you do free, you guarantee. Even when you do paid, people don't show up. So it's just obviously when you do a free registration, you do get a number of people who don't show up. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've done anything like this, so I don't know what the percentages are. But I said to Leah, well, we'll work out what the percentages are, because it's a problem when people don't show up because you don't know what size room to get.
Yeah.
So, you know, you might register 600 people, but you're like, well, you know 600 people are not going to show up. Would 300 show up? And then you think, maybe 300, maybe 50%, which is kind of like what you would normally go for. You'd go 50%. But then what if you do 300 and you get a room for 300 and then 450 show up? You know, that's why you don't do it for free. But we are going to do it for free. We're going to do a free registration, and we are trusting the people that, you know, they're going to show up. And if they're not, they're going to have the courtesy to email us and say, hey, I'm not going to be able to come, and maybe we can give that's their spot to someone who was potentially on a waiting list. Yeah. So that whole $1 thing's gone down the toilet as well. So, and you know, and then it's like, well, you know, how do you pay? How do you pay? You know, I mean, you got to pay the venue, right? You know, and you know, we will give people an opportunity to pay what they feel if they ever felt they wanted to. You know, that's fine, and that could contribute, but that's not why I'm doing that. But you know, when we're coming to LA, I mean, I just looked at my LA flight, by the way, Christina.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, okay, I better book my LA flights now. It's like, you know, the event is in July. I book my flights now. You kind of get a better rate if you book earlier. You know how much my flights are? $12,000.
Wow.
Of course, you know, someone's like, $12,000? Yeah, I fly business. Like, I don't, please, just because I'm giving something away for free, I don't change, I don't become smaller. I still live how I live. But the question is like, but how is it going to work? Stay tuned. I'm staying tuned. Let's see what unfolds.
Yeah.
Do you understand? I'm not thinking it through. This is not something, you know, when it comes to love, you don't think it through. You feel it through. You know, it's love is not a thinking process.
Yeah.
It's a feeling process. So that's the whole, our whole podcast has shifted to this new, I was thinking about it today. I was like, well, do I change it? Because our podcast is called Limitless with AZ. And I was like, Christina, do we change it to behind the scenes with AZ? Because it's now all behind the scenes. But anyway, I'm not going to go into too many changes. I'm just going to leave it as it is. But we know that we are currently doing an episode about behind the scenes. So I'm going to keep sharing behind the scenes. And there might be some difficult times. There might be some wonderful times. But everything's getting documented in this podcast, and it's going to be on YouTube as well. So, you know, someone can watch this and see it from the beginning. It all started in 2024, January, when I came to my company and went, guys, we're not doing any more facilitators. The facilitator, like
the whole model.
The whole model. And I had facilitators who had clients, and I just went, just take the clients, just continue, just do your own thing. Just do your own thing for now. I love working with my facilitators. I hope that comes back in at some point. But I don't want to have a model. I want the model or the plan to unfold. I've always, I've built many things in my life, including a family, including businesses, including careers, in aviation. And I've always chosen to not plan any of it because I find it far more powerful when the plan unfolds itself.
Yeah.
And if you're not following the feeling, you better have a plan. If you're following an emotion, an attachment, you're disguising your feeling. You're manipulating, but you're like, I'm following you're telling yourself bullshit. I'm following my feeling. Then you better have a plan, right. And you better have. It's not what I'm talking about. But in my life, I've never planned. I don't even plan my talks. Yeah. This whole podcast is. If you're watching these podcasts, you're seeing how it's unfolding. It's like this is unfolding. Wow. My team get to see this all the time. Because they're on the inner circle. So we're now trying to bring the inner circle out. Yeah. So other people get to experience that. And I'm only realizing that as I'm saying it.
Yeah. True.
It's not like right?
Yeah, it's true. It is.
Love the smoke.
And I know there might have been some things today that for some people, like maybe you're feeling it, but it didn't. It's like some of it doesn't make sense yet, and that's I get that. Amir, you've told me before, you've told audiences this before, that you have now come to a point where you find your certainty more in the uncertain than you do from, where a lot of people get their certainty from, in their circumstances and things like that. And
with what's happening.
Yeah, from what's happening. And so I feel like that is something that's difficult to grasp at first, but what I would say to anyone who's going I feel that, I want it, or I want to feel that, but there's some things that are going over my head. It's okay, you got to watch that content that's out there because it will start to make sense. And it's watch Limitless, of course, first, but then as you start going through those truth bumps, all the things that Amir's talking about and the way that he's living, those things will start to make sense, even if they don't right now. But it begins with just trusting that little bit, that feeling that where it's resonating, and then just continuing to do the work. So I love this behind the scenes, even though there might be some things that it's whoa, I don't know how that can happen for me yet, but I love to get a glimpse of what it looks like and what it feels like, So I love what you've shared today.
I think from what you just said, what I get from what you just said, Chrissy, is that if you're watching this and you haven't done any of the work, like the Limitless or the Truth Bumps, which are, again, I'll say it again, they're free on YouTube, so it's not really a plug. But if you're listening to this and going, damn, I just want what he's got. I want that feeling, or I want that feeling. There may be things that I'm sharing that it's making you feel things right now, and you're and you're feeling possibilities. You're feeling you may just go, I want more of that, or I want what they're talking about, or what he's got. Right? Okay, go watch Limitless.
Yeah,
trust it. Go watch Limitless, and watch that Truth Bump, and we'll keep doing recordings of behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
It's important. I once attempted to do this before, and I called it the love experiment. I was trying to create a social experiment, and I failed to follow it through. I did it for 11 months, and I just was and I gave all my program. I've done this before.
Yeah,
I've attempted. I just wasn't courageous enough to keep doing it. I didn't have enough depth inside of me to follow it through. And there was different reasons why I pulled out of it, which I can do another behind the scene if you like. But I'll tell you right now, it was the content that I was sharing was far too deep and it could be misinterpreted.
Yeah.
So what I did after that is I went and grabbed all my content and I re-recorded them with the idea that who I'm talking to may be someone who's hearing this for the first time. So I re-recorded all of them as the truth bombs. That's why I pulled out when I did this a couple of years ago, and Leah was around back then.
Yeah.
And I told Leah, I want to give everything away. I'm going to create this social experiment called the love experiment. I'm just going to give it away for free, give it away for love, whatever. And I did that for you. And some people were watching this and going, yeah, I did your program back then. It was, you know, but I wasn't happy with that content. It was deep. It was deep stuff. But I was thinking, if someone's listening to that for the first time and they don't have any support, like I wasn't supporting them. They were watching it on their own. That content is designed for you to do it as part of a coaching program. So you got the support. So that myself or a facilitator was ensuring that you're not misinterpreting that, because if you misinterpret it, it's going to screw a few things up.
Yeah.
Momentarily, right? So we didn't want to fuck with you, you know? Like that's why my original program, the program's now called Limitless, but originally it was called the WTF experience. And it was called which stands for what the fuck. The true acronym was the wisdom, truth, and freedom experience. But the reason I called it what the fuck, I mean, originally it was called the Quest for Truth. So many layers here, but people would do that program and say, "What the fuck?" Like, and they would say it over and over again, and it's like when you have an aha moment. But these guys were having a "what the fuck" moment, right? Like that shifts and changes everything. Like that's the kind of. And then one day, as a joke, I said, I should call this program the What the Fuck experience. And that's when it was called the Quest for Truth. And everyone laughed. And then the next day I thought, you know what? I am going to change the name of the program. And the Quest for Truth became the WTF experience. And then the acronym just dropped in as I was walking on Bondi Beach. I remember exactly where I was. You know, when you remember these things, like you remember what you're wearing, you remember the smells, or you remember what you're doing. It was just like the wisdom, truth, and freedom experience. And that's how that became about. But long story short, the main reason I pulled out of that first experiment, the love experiment, was I didn't know if I was doing the right thing by giving people that content and they're doing it on their own. And now I've gone and re-recorded everything as truth bumps, which I feel content if someone was watching that and they're watching it on their own. But furthermore, now they're not. You don't have to do it on your own. I'm actually going to support you, and I'm going to meet with you live in person. So yeah, if anyone's actually interested in joining the it's called the Live It coaching membership. So it's all about living this, right? So if you're interested in that, you can go to the website. I guess it's on the website. I'm not even sure. I mean, the email went out today, but. I'm sure there will be something there on the website, and be on the next call, and we can converse, we can connect, we can transform.
Amazing. Oh, I love today's conversation. Zogs, thanks for being so open about your process and what's going on behind the scenes. It's really, really cool to get to share that and to converse with you about it. So thank you.
Thanks, Christina, and thanks, everyone. We'll see everyone next week, I guess.
Yeah, see you on the next episode.
Hey, guys, well done. You've just completed this video. How do you feel? I'm just here to remind you that in order for me to continue to support you, it's important for you to continue to support this work. Please like this video and also press subscribe, and remember to press the bell icon as well so you get notified every single time I release a video. I'm going to be releasing so much content here that's going to support you. If you're looking for something even more, like you're looking for a community to be part of, some extra support, some extra coaching, you're looking to share your journey with other people, then go ahead and visit my website at amirzoghi.com. amir.com, and there'll be some information there on how you can be more involved. Also, I read all the comments. I'd love to hear your experience. I want to release these videos for you. I want to support you. I love to see how it's landing for you. What's your experience of the videos? Do you have any questions? So remember to comment below and I'll be responding to those messages as well. Thanks, guys. I'll see you on the next video.